Hello and welcome to Career Prep. My name is Matt Studebaker. I am a lecturer at the Woodbury School of Business at Utah Valley University. And today we are going to talk about the STAR method. And so the STAR method is an acronym that stands for situation, title, or sometimes task, action, results. And so this is the answer that you want to give for questions that are behavioral-based interview questions during the interview. Behavioral-based interview questions sound very similar to each other. Essentially, something like tell me about a time when, describe a situation when. They want you to tell or communicate a story. And so from your background, because when this was developed by some psychologists back in the 70s, they wanted to be able to find an indication of how to predict future performance based off past experiences. And so this is essentially why they started using in the interview process behavioral-based interview questions. And so with the STAR method, it essentially breaks down with the acronym the situation, the S, what is going on, the T, the title. Now, I do title different than task, and the reason why is with title, I need to know who you are in the story, because often this is overlooked when we just say task. People will just mention what they were tasked to do. But if I understand who you are in the story, I can gain a general understanding of what your task is, and then what you're tasked to do, you can incorporate into your action. But in the title, I need to know what job that this was, the job title, your position, or in what company you were working for in this position. So I can get understanding, especially if it's in the interview process and I have your resume in front of me. I need to be able to reference somewhere on there where this experience is coming from. And so oftentimes when people don't do this, I'm kind of left in the dark about who you are in the story. And this can matter, right? Because if you're a manager, you have a lot more at your disposal than, say, if you were a customer service rep or a sales associate. You are limited with what you can handle. And so depending on who I understand you are in the story, I can understand maybe the resources you have at your disposal. The action is where you spend most of the time, and it is whatever you did to resolve, fix, or change it. And then the results, which is the most important portion of this. What's the result? And then how did it add value to the company? So let's take a look at these here. So for the STAR method, for all of these, I'm going to use the same question. And I've typed out responses from an experience, a real experience, to be able to help drive home the point of how these should actually sound in the interview. So again, the situation, what's going on, just 1 to 2 sentences. It does not take a long time. Please don't spend a ton of time setting this up. If you spend too much time setting this up, you start to lose interest with the people that are interviewing you. So get to the point, okay? 1 to 2 sentences max. So here's the question, the behavioral-based question that we're going to use for the acronym today. Describe a problem that you faced in the management or supervisory role. Okay, so here's an example of situation. While working in a warehouse, we had a problem with one department with employees not showing up to their shifts. Each shift, we needed to have a minimum of 8 workers or 8 employees working in that department on the manufacturing line, and we were dropping below that minimum requirement periodically. So essentially, I'm saying we had a staffing issue. Okay, so we move over to the title, which is the second component of STAR. And so again, who am I in this situation? What's the company? So this is 1 sentence long, okay? Don't tell me what you were supposed to be doing or what you were tasked to fix in this situation. That's part of the action. Just save it for then. Okay, I just want to know your role so I get context and background about who you are in this story. So here it is, same question, describe a problem you faced in a management or supervisor role. I was the warehouse manager at Print Finishing Specialties at the time this was occurring. Now, with that said, you can combine the title with the situation in the same sentences, and it's very easily done. So you can say here with the situation, instead of starting off the way, it says, while I was a warehouse manager at Print Finishing Specialty, we had a problem with one department. You see how I can just flow right into that? That's totally acceptable. That works. And you're more than welcome to do that. Sometimes people want to make it really clear. There are companies out there that specifically ask that answers be done in STAR method. And if that's the company that I am interviewing with, I'm going to make it very clear. I'm going to say, well, the situation was this, and my title in this task in this situation was this, and then my action and so forth. That way they understand that I'm using that STAR method and that they understand that I'm using it so that they know, because I want to make sure that I move on in the interview process or get the job. And so this will lead to the action. And this is whatever you did, where you tasked to or required to fix the problem or create a solution. Okay, is your action uh, in action. All right, and so this is going to be, if you were to write it out. Obviously, I'm writing all these out, but like if you were to write this out, it should be a minimum of 4 to 5 sentences. You need to spend time talking about this. Okay, this is where you are showing your skills or qualifications in action. Okay, if you are skimming on the details here, not providing enough, you are leaving me in the dark. I was not there. I don't know what happened. You have to communicate that to me. You need to be a good storyteller and set this up well in regards to telling me what you did. Okay, because if you're going to tell me that you're a great problem solver, this is where you prove it. Okay, or you're going to tell me you're a hard worker. Now's the time where you prove it and you show your ideas in action. Okay, or your ability to lead or whatever the case may be in action. So here's again the question: describe a problem you faced in the management or supervisory role. Okay, the action I took to remedy the situation was to start a cross-training initiative within the department that was struggling with consistent attendance. I proceeded to take employees that were working in low-skilled areas and cross-train them in the high-skilled areas in case the high-skilled workers missed their shifts. I then went into the other departments that traditionally had excess employees over their minimum standards and cross-trained them on the low-skilled functions of the department operating the line, the department where the problem was occurring. That way, when the department attendance dropped below the 8 employee minimum, I was able to move those, if needed, to the high skilled areas and then acquire workers from the other department that had previously trained and move them to the low skilled areas. So essentially, I'm telling them how I'm cross training and moving people to different departments, right? From different departments to come and help. So what was the result? Okay, this is the most important part of the STAR method. Okay, and so you have to make sure, first of all, that this is positive. If you are going to share a result that is negative or in some way shows you in a negative light or a bad light or a failed light, throw it in the trash, never use it again. Okay, you cannot use negative results because it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. It's kind of like, that's it. It's kind of like, ever watched a movie that had a bad ending? You're kind of pissed, right? Because it had a bad ending. This is essentially the same thing, but in an interview setting. Okay, don't end with that. It always has to be positive. All right, and so this is actually broken up into 2 parts, and they are both critical to the success of your interview answer. What was the result is the first part, and then how does this add value to the company you are interviewing with? Okay, not the company that you worked for at the time of the story. They don't care about that company. They care about their company. How does this story matter to them? Okay, how does this experience matter to the future company? You need to bridge that gap. Okay, most people, 95% of people in interview answers do not do this. And so if you are doing this, you are essentially communicating them why you should be hired or why the story matters to them. That's why you have to share it. Okay, this is about 2 to 3 sentences long, so not super long, but it's going to be very impactful. Okay, and the more measurable that you make this, the better. Measurable are things like percentages, numbers, money, or any other highly specific information that you can provide. The more you have of it, the better or concrete it is. Okay, because I don't know what them showing up like or you making a lot of money looks like. Or you say, well, I sold 10 units. I'm like, compared to what, right? Compared to the last week or the last quarter, last year. Okay, and so it helps to kind of quantify your results in my mind and help make it more impactful. Okay, so here's the same question. Describe a problem that you faced in a management or supervisory role. So listen for the 2 parts. Here's part 1. Because we were able to maintain our minimum number of 8 employees in that department, we were able to consistently attain 100%, there's my measurable information, of our daily production goals. That's part 1. Here comes part 2. With this experience, I know that I would be a valuable asset to your company, because not only am I able to overcome obstacles in a positive manner, I'm also able to produce consistent results that will benefit your company. Okay, obviously I don't have a specific company here. If I did, I would try and make it even more specific to them and their situation. All right. And so this is the STAR method. And so those that use the STAR method and you use it well, you will knock their socks off. Okay. Lights out. You're going to win in the interview. And so you just want to make sure that you are sticking to the STAR method and that you are organized and that you're using measurable results and hammering that result out, that it's positive and that it is tying in the results that you of the previous company or previous experience to the needs of the future company, and you will do great. With that said, that's it for this video. Thank you.